Hey everyone, it's Dr. K. So as active adults, you guys are always coming in here and talking to me about ways that you guys are looking to improve your recovery. That way you can manage your fatigue, your stress, your soreness. It's really hard sometimes for you guys to suss out what's actually worth your time. And it's super important, what you invest your time in, because you want to be able to prepare for the next training session, your next race. And we know that adequate recovery leads to things like fatigue and reduction in sports performance. So, cold water immersion is commonly being promoted as being an effective recovery strategy for active adults and athletes. So, after heavy bouts of exercise, the idea is by immersing yourself in cold water, it can lead to things like reduced body temperature, and that results in altered blood flow, fluid retention, and metabolic activity. And the changes in metabolic activity actually help to the recovery process and muscle damage. So, there is some evidence that, you may improve your mood because of the release of endorphins and the perception of pain, during your recovery session, that, leads to things like reduced muscle soreness. So cold water immersion had even better evidence than something like cryotherapy for achieving those goals. So if you think about the benefits of it, it's actually very cost effective versus cryotherapy, and it can be utilized in many different settings that don't require you going to one facility to perform this intervention with just this expensive piece of equipment you don't have at home. So there's evidence that benefits for cold water immersion improve things like your power performance, up to 24 hours afterwards. There are smaller effects around the 48-hour mark, but really nothing significant past that point. So for things like delayed onset muscle soreness, again, it was effective for around the 24-hour mark, right up to 48 hours, and anything past that is really negligible. And then cold water immersion was effective for people in how they perceive their recovery. Do they feel rested and ready for the next bout of high intensity exercise? And again, 24 hours is that sweet spot. So there wasn't any evidence showing it affected recovery for strength-based activities or endurance-based activities at the 24-hour mark. Also, cold water immersion, didn't really influence any flexibility. So the reality is you have to keep putting in the work to improve your flexibility and mobility if you want that component to improve. One paper's recommendations through a meta-analysis found 2 exposures of 10 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes each, and in between those 2 bouts, you have 5 minutes of the athlete recovering in room temperature water for roughly 2 minutes. Okay. Another study showed the ideal temperature should be between 11 and 15 degrees Celsius, and the time spent in cold water immersion is roughly 11 to 15 minutes to reduce muscle soreness and enhance your recovery. So that's very manageable in terms of a recovery session. So, I hope this gives you some clarity on how and when to use cold water immersion, what the research supports. Seems like it's super cost efficient and beneficial in a lot of different environments. And you realistically could just set this up in your own backyard if you wanted to, without having to travel somewhere, spend money on some other facility. You can save time, energy, and money. So I hope you guys kind of incorporate that in your lifestyle. Let me know if you have any questions. Stay strong, inspire others.